Hey, this is Mr. Elmhorst with the Knight's Math Homework Help video for week number 2. So make sure you get logged into Schoology, go into quarter 1, and this is going to be week 2. And I'm always going to keep it right up towards the top. So the homework, let's go ahead and click on that. Okay, and then you should have the little option that says open with Cami, and we're going to use that. Now, if for some reason it does not have open with Cami, then you're going to have to go up and open another tab, Google search Cami, K-A-M-I, and then once it comes up, you're going to have to uninstall it and then reinstall it for your web browser. Then refresh your page. Okay. So now that we've got it opened up here, just you may want to use the drawing tool to help you out with that. I'm going to be using the hand tool just because I'm going to be moving around here. So I'm going to just Monday night, you got 3 problems. So what I like to do is just kind of zoom in, and I see the students in the class have been doing that. Okay. And I'm using something called page marker, but you guys are going to use the tools in Cami. So which number line shows 1/3 and its opposite? So there's no negative sign out front, so we're going to assume that we have 1/3, and the opposite of a positive 1/3 would be a negative 1/3. Okay, so we take a look at A, answer choice A. We see positive 1/3, but we don't see negative 1/3. So we know it's not that one. And if we go down to answer choice C, we see some value at 0. 0 is not the opposite of 1/3. So because of that choice, we can eliminate it. And then we got to look at B and D. So B, if we look at B, it looks like we have a fraction where we go 1, 2 out of 3. So that actually looks like it is 2/3, and then you go -1, -2, and that's actually -2/3. So looks like answer choice D, we have positive 1/3, and then we have negative 1/3. So that would be a correct answer choice. Okay. So I'm going to slide up here a little bit. Oh, I'm going to have to clear off the screen. You guys have that from the video, or go back in the video and you can watch that. Okay. So which number line shows an integer and its opposite? So if we look at answer choice, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So if we look at answer choice A, so it looks like we have positive 1, and then 2, 3, and then 3, and then going to the left of 0, going to the left, we are negative over here, and it looks like this is negative 2. So we have 1, 3, and -2, and none of those are opposite. So we just need one number, and that number is opposite. So if we look at answer choice B, so it looks like we have positive 3, and then starting at 0 going to the left, it looks like we have -3. That looks pretty good. We have positive 3 and -3 opposites. So just looking at answer choice C, we have 1 and then -5, and then 2 and then -3. So just identifying those, looks like our correct answer choice is going to be answer choice B. Clear that off, zoom in, and then come back out, move around. So as a part of a research team, Ryan climbs into a cavern to an elevation. So caverns are underground. Elevation means you're going up or down, but the cavern's telling you you're going down. And then the number also tells you it's a negative value. But the question is, what is the absolute value? And remember that absolute value is distance. It's just saying how far. It's not asking about positive or negative. So absolute value, if we write it down here, so we have negative 117.6, 6/10. These little bars mean absolute value. So the absolute value of this negative number is just the number, 17.6. So we can go ahead and fill that in, 17, and then 1. So we got 117. Decimal stays in the same spot, and then 6 stays right next to the decimal. And because we have a space left over here, we actually fill in a 0. Okay, so 6/10 stays in the 10th spot. Now, on gridables, you could leave this open. In 6th grade, now you have a negative, but we're not going to, this is not a negative value that we're gridding in. So you could leave it open. This would be correct, or you could put positive, and that would also be correct, as long as you're not filling in the negative, because this is not a negative answer. And that would be absolutely correct right there. All right. So that's Monday night's homework. Okay. So let's take a look at Tuesday. Tuesday's homework. Coming over here. Problem number 1. Problem number in Albany, it's -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Chicago's -14. Minneapolis is -11. Toronto is -13. So this is a question about cold. Cold, the colder it is, the more negative it is. So if we actually drew a quick number line here, temperature, when it's going negative, it's going down, and we're starting at 0, and it looks like we have all negative numbers, and we just start running down here. So if we going counting down from 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, so this number is closest to 0, which is closest to the warm side of things. So that is not the coldest, that's actually the warmest. So we're actually looking for the coldest temperature, the most negative temperature. So we'd have -4, -11's going down, -13's going down, and -14 would be the coldest temperature. And what city is that? That's going to be Minneapolis. Okay. Is it, no, no, Albany, no, hold on, good catch. So let me erase that. Let's read carefully. Let me go back. Okay, so Albany is here. Chicago is -14. Let's read carefully. So it's actually Chicago. Chicago is -14. Okay. Clear that off and then move up. You can see. So absolute value of 27. So we take a look at, be careful, it's not asking for opposite, it's asking for absolute value. Absolute value is distance, and distance is just the number. So the absolute value of 27 is 27. It's just saying 27 is 27 units from 0. Okay, distance. Good. And let's take a look at the last one for Tuesday. Here, come on. I can move it around. There we go. Okay. All right. So Melvin, here, I'm going to use my mouse. Let's move it. There we go. Okay. So Melvin has a certain number of files on his computer. The opposite of this number is -653. How many files? So if -653 is the opposite, then let's go back to the original number. Basically, it's asking you what's the opposite of -653? The opposite is going to be +653. 653. Notice I did not start from the right. There is no decimal value on this number, so we're going to assume the decimal value is right here, and there is no value in tenths and hundreds, so we just put in 0. All right, and because we're looking for a positive number, now positive numbers are griddables if you don't put the positive in there, it would still be graded as positive. So that would be correct. Or you can put the positive in there just to be sure, and then go ahead and fill it in. So the most correct answer would be 653 decimal, and if you left that blank, it would be graded as 00, but then you can also put the zeros in there and then fill them in. So, but of course, on a real test, we want to shade these in a little bit better, as they say, dark and neat. Okay. All right. So we're done with Tuesday. We'll come in here, take a look at Wednesday's homework. So, which shows the integers in order from greatest to least? So we take a look of greatest to least. So greatest is going to be your positive numbers, and least are going to be your negative numbers. So we're actually going in the backwards direction. So we're actually starting with the positive numbers. Undo that. Clear. Okay. So our list is going to start with the positive numbers. We're going to list them out, and then we're going to go to our most negative numbers. So if we look at B and C, our negative numbers are not going to be the first thing. Those are going to be last. Our negative numbers are not the greatest ones. So we know it's not those. So now we need to take a look at it. Is it 18, 4, 3, counting down, or is it 18, a positive number, negative number, positive? This is jumping up and down the number line. So we don't even really need to put them in order. We can see we don't go in order. We don't go positive, negative, positive, positive, negative. But the largest negative number is going to be the least value, and the largest positive number is going to be the greatest value. Okay, so we're good there. Number 2, Kyle is currently 60 feet above sea level. Above sea level is 0, so let's label that. Sea level is 0. That means you're not above the water or below the water, you're right at the water level. So sea level is 0. So if it's above, that means we're going in the positive direction. So we got positive 60. So which one describes the opposite? So the question is, what is the opposite of positive 60? The opposite of positive 60 would be negative 60. And the opposite of above is going to mean below sea level. All right, so we got 60 feet below sea level, 60 feet above sea level. That's the same thing. 6 feet, and then at sea level. So our correct answer is going to be, got the neighbor's dog barking in the background. You guys probably heard that on the video, but it is what it is. It happens. So, okay, so looking at which one is the greatest out of these numbers. Okay, now don't get nervous. We got some fractions, we got some decimals, and we're going to get into those this year. But if we take a look at it, if we're looking at greatest numbers, so because we have positives and we have negatives, our greatest numbers are going to be our positives. Okay, so if we look at, so it's not this one, so our negative, greatest numbers are going to be to the right of 0. So all we really need to figure out is which one of these is greater. And because you're at home, you guys can use a calculator. You can do this real quick. So if we just take 1, and we're going to do this as a couple weeks come up here, we're going to be converting fractions to decimals. But 1 divided by 3 does give you this long number, but that doesn't mean it's a huge long number. What we're going to focus on is here, the first 2. You guys can't see this here. All right, we're just going to focus on the first 2 decimal values because we're comparing it to 2 decimal values over here. So this is 45 hundredths and this is 33 hundredths. So with that being said, let's write that down. So this is 0.33, that's 1/3, and then we have 0.45. So which one of those is greater? 45 hundredths is greater than 33 hundredths. So, oh, and I just made a mistake here. Okay, it's 45 hundredths. 45 hundredths. So the decimal is on the left. The number goes on the right. All right, let me focus here, Mr. Elmhurst. Here we go. Okay. So we got 45 hundredths. And if you want to put a 0 over here, that's fine. That would be correct. And if you wanted to put positive over here because it is a positive number, that would be correct as well. You don't have to put the positive. The gradables are always graded as they're assuming to be positive. Now, I do keep deleting all my work here. I do want to say, as we're doing the homework, make sure, what page marker? Uh-oh, I ran out of the page marker. Okay, make sure that you are showing your work for the homework, even if you're watching the video here. Okay, now Thursday, there's actually only 2 problems for here because it looks a little complicated. I wanted to put some graphing into the homework. So if we take a look at the first question, so which of the following are not coordinates from the line in? So if we come down here and we look at coordinates for line in, so you see line in right here. So we're going to have to use our graphing coordinates format, x and y. So the first one is x is going to be 4.5 or 4.5. So we go over here at 4.5. 4.5 is right between 4 and 5, and then you're going to go up 1.5. So you go up 1.5, and we put a point right there. Okay, so that's good. That is a point on the line. You know what? Let's go down to C, 0, -3, just because that's a little easier to check. So x is 0, y is -3. So starting at the origin, x is 0. We don't go left or right. We go down. So, yep, that one checks out. That one is on the line. So now it's either B or D. So if we look at B, x is +1, x is +1, and then y is -1 and a -1.5. So we go +1, -1.5. And that looks like it is off the line just a little bit. And -1.5, -4.5. This one checks out. So it looks like this one is not quite on the line. Point U is off the line. Okay. So in problem 2, for which points do the x and y coordinates have the same value? Okay, so we look at the same value. I'm going to clear this off here. You guys don't have to clear it with your board. So S only. So S, -2, -2, -2, -2. That's true. So S is correct. Now W, 1.5, 1.5. So X is 1.5, Y is 1.5. So that's true. So let's check X. X, we're going to go +4.5, +4.5, and then +4.5. 4.5, 4.5. So that's good. So the last one, let's check V. V is going to be +2, then negative. Positive, negative, no. So that one is not any good because you got a positive value and then a negative value. So if they're the same value, you want to have positive, positive, or you want to have negative, negative. So quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So the only one that really were all 3 and not all 4. So 3 out of the 4 have the same coordinate values. Okay, so make sure you show your work. If I'm showing work on this CAMI, this homework assignment, that's what I'm going to be looking for once you turn it in. So once you have your work finished, you got to answer it on Thursday. So you can turn it in early, but it is due Thursday by midnight or 11:59 Thursday night. So you can click on turn in, and then turn in the assignment up here on the right, and then use your Google Drive. If it asks you for it, use your Google Drive to save that, and then it should show up over here on the right hand side. Show up on the right hand side over here that you've turned it in.